live now. All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Growthpreneur Be Magnificent in Life and Business podcast. I have my first guest, and guess who? I have had a pleasure of meeting this gentleman back in 2018, just incidentally by looking at some of the posts in the LinkedIn, and I realized that this person has something opposite to what all we were doing in a corporate life. And I realized, why is he so different? What is different in him? And that is what made me curious about him. So I went on to research about him and understood what he is doing. And when I understood what he is doing, his backstory, coming from a very, very humble family, father is a truck driver, and now changing the lives of people by building the business around a passion, that actually made me really, really curious. So I jumped onto his webinar and understood that this was real. And in a single day, when for the next last 17 years I had not spent a single penny on my self development, on that single day, just by listening to this gentleman, I made a decisions of my life which has changed my entire life for good. Today, the growthpreneur journey, the movement, the people who are being impacted under the growthpreneur umbrella, all I owe it to this gentleman, and he is my first mentor. Let me introduce you to India's first passionpreneur mentor, Dave Gadhvi.
Hi, Rakesh. What a lovely
Welcome.
introduction.
Welcome, Dave, to this show, Growthpreneur, where we are talking about being magnificent because that is what everybody wants to aspire, but ultimately, very few reach there. And thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to Thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to have your time. And first and foremost, we would like to wish you and the entire Passionpreneur family a very, very happy new year. And I'm
Thank
sure this year we'll be seeing much bigger movement in the Passionpreneur than we have seen in the last few years or so.
Indeed,
So
indeed. Thank you, and wish you the same, and wish all the viewers a very, very happy New Year. May the 2021 be the best year for you by far.
thank you. And while we will go through a series of questions that I have for you, I think the one thing which actually made me curious about you, and I'm sure many people would be really, really curious as well, how a person who is coming from a very humble family, a truck driver's son, and having such a high ambition, was it actually by birth, or was it something which actually occurred by incident? So what is that actually happened?
That's a very interesting question. I remember some of my friends used to tease me because you being Gujarati, you know it, that you're a good Jew, you're a good Jew bhai, and Gujarati have business in their blood. They used to make fun of me. And why are you working in a job? To which I used to reply, I think I'm a duplicate, fake Gujarati. I'm not that Gujarati with the business etiquettes. But the jokes apart, never in my wildest dreams, I thought, excuse me, I thought that I would start my business, start on this journey, have a big vision, have a big mission. Never in my dreams it occurred to me. Um, and the funny part is, I was comparing myself with all my friends. Recently, I came back from Gujarat, and I used to think that I'm doing much better off than everybody else because I'm making 3 lakh rupees a month as a salary, whereas in my hometown, all my friends are making very less. My relatives are making even less. So I used to think that I'm much better off, but as I got a slap on my face, which made me realize how mediocre I was, how mediocre my dreams were, how mediocre everything was in my life. And that happened because of my first mentor, Grant Cardone. And I started following his books, reading his books, started my journey. And that is something which inspired me to start this journey of following the passion, finding the passion, creating something substantial out of this. So that was the trigger point for me.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. But isn't this mediocrity has been there for long, long time? I mean, why only few people like you, or for that matter, you made me realize, as well as the passionpreneurs in the journey, why only few are able to realize it? Is it something wrong with the system itself, or is it something that we are trained to do so that follow the same system over and over again?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? A lot of people think that Corona is a big problem for all human beings. It is a problem, but not as big as this problem called mediocrity. And the funny part about the mediocrity is there is no detection even after 14 days. It takes maybe 14 years, like how it took 13, 14 years after, you being in the job and career, you realize that, everything in your life was mediocre. Same thing for me. So I would say this is so deep rooted problem in our society that we all have accepted mediocrity as a norm. You see, everything, we are happy with the mediocre income, mediocre health, mediocre relationship, mediocre happiness, everything mediocre. And that is the biggest problem which we humans we are facing. But how did it all start? It all started with the environment, by our parents, by the school system, and then also to a certain degree to a corporate system as well. Now, if we would be talking 20 years ago, then this would have not been a problem, because back in those days, even with getting basic income and salary was a big problem. But fast forward today, if you're in India, if you're educated, if you have access to internet and a cell phone, then there's no reason you should live a mediocre life, because everything can be done from the touch of the phone. All you need, your passion, your determination, and the cell phone and internet. I think that is all it is required. But yeah, thanks to our for education system and even parents, we love them. I love my mom, my dad, but let's accept it. They themselves had small dreams, small ambitions. Their talks was jitna hai utne mein khush raho, right? Be happy with what you have, right? Don't jitni chadar hai utne hi pair pasaro. All these dialogues that we have heard right from childhood, it is coming from their parents, because their parents struggled for survival, right? And they continue to be in a survival mode and a security mode for a long time. Now, our generation is going from survival to security to success mode. So,
Correct.
very few people are actually focusing on success, and then few people are even focusing on significance mode. So, that problem is deep rooted, which very few people understand it.
And that prompts me another question that now I think our generation is the only golden generation that I feel that has an access to this luxury, what we call, which obviously our parents didn't have. And the next generation is going even faster, as I see my sons who are actually now working on the gadgets right from the age of 2. Now, help me understand, but still there is a lot of category of people who feel that they need to have certain amount of degree, right, in order to actually build a business. There are intellectuals which who believe that definitely the only way to grow is a certain path. Is it something which is still not understood by the intellect, or is it something which is kind of a secret that we are trying to reveal or discover once the experience comes, once the people get stagnated, and only when there is a pain you realize, oh my goodness, I should have done this years back.
Hmm.
So what is that is actually causing this challenge?
Yeah, yeah. It reminds me, very interesting point. Um, the reason why we are not able to open our eyes and we are completely blinded is because we accepted the norm of living below our means. We accepted that this is how it is. Now, if you're happy and satisfied with your life, no problem. But not everybody would be able to be happy and satisfied with the small income, small job. We are living in a financial world. And this is a deep rooted problem which is going to take a long time, despite having all the gadgets and access, and young generation is aware about the tools and technologies. The people who are millennials are in a very tricky situation because one leg is in the past, one leg is in the future, right? So they're confused. What am I going to do? And then on top of that, the conditioning, like, I'm not good enough. Only degrees is what's going to help. Like, if you throw a stone in India, the third person it'll hit will be definitely an engineer or a lawyer or a doctor, right? Maybe two of them would be there. So imagine, you walking up to your parents when you were studying that, I want to become a chef. They'll laugh at you like, oh, I want to be a painter. They'll laugh at you. What? This is a hobby. This is not a profession. But a lot of people are still sleeping. They're still blinded. They have no idea what is going to hit them after a few years. The kind of innovations that has happened in last 10 years, it has not happened in last hundreds of years,
True,
just in 10 years.
true,
And yet people will call you and I the scammers and somebody who is just trying to take the money away and selling the courses and programs. Why is this that very few people understand that they spend 15 years in a formal education just for the degree, which is redundant.
true.
Today MBA is equivalent to what graduation was when we were
Oh,
studying,
yes,
right?
100%.
I,
100%.
I, I I visited my old college this time, last week, and I was like, my God, nothing has changed here. My friends, they were going to MBA. There was a Tolani Institute of Commerce College in Adipur that time, and I was a BCom graduate, and all my friends, they say, you know what? Hey, let's do MBA. Let's do MBA. Yeah, okay, good, good, good. Everybody at MBA, and where did I go? Call center, right? But fast forward today, if I look, most of my friends, they're not even earning a 1 lakh rupees income. Most of my friend. And the people who are not in a job, they're still hardly making 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs a month from their business.
True.
Hardly. I can count them on fingers. So now looking back, did we not have choice? Yes, we had a choice. Right? I mean, at that time, no. But now we have a choice. That their traditional route, go to job, traditional things, traditional business, everything. And there's a new route which has opened up, which very few people are able to take this turn
True.
because they're afraid and they don't know what they don't know. And that's why when somebody like you make a video or podcast like this or write a book, people will start blaming us as a scammer versus not looking at the education system, which was the biggest scam that they had. It got basic information, basic knowledge, which is good, but it's not serving beyond what is required than just survival. So I think it's just a conditioning.
Absolutely. And that reminds me, I think in terms of the conditioning, like I was in a job for 17 years, and it was just occurring to me that when I started my job, the first job itself, it was a matter of survival for my family. But when I grew up, I knew that I had left behind the survival, but I was living in the conditioning which was kind of holding me back for a long period of time. But at the same time, with the experience, especially in the corporate life, you also become an intellectual where you create the blind spot around you, and that blind spot is more or less is stopping you to actually take certain steps. Why so many people, despite having the intellectual knowledge, which I have seen that there are many who are actually highly intellectual, educated, and all, and they have done a lot of MBA degrees and so on, why would they not have that courage? Is a question which is still bothering the professionals, because you and I both know that when we talk to the professionals, they want to do, they are all aspiring, ambitious. They have somewhere in their dreams that, yes, I want to become somebody like Dave or Rakesh, or for that matter, anybody like Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos. But they are holding themselves back. One is the conditioning part of it, the other is also the fear or the lack of courage is stopping them.
Yeah.
Is it something which should be actually overcome, and if so, how?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a brilliant point. Just think about this. There is no course or a program in school or college which says how to become courageous.
Absolutely.
There is no medicine or injection that you can buy and become courageous.
True.
So, what is किस चिड़िया का नाम है? What is courage, and how do you develop courage? I think more often our generation has become too comfortable and too weak because we are getting things on a platter.
Agree.
Jobs are becoming easy. It's very easy to be in a job and only do enough things to survive. It is very easy,
Very easy.
but it's
True.
very difficult to say no to the path which is being followed by billions of people and pave your path which is different, which people don't understand around you, friends don't understand, your parents don't understand, your family, your wife, they don't understand, your kids will not understand. Maybe kids will understand because they're next generation, but all the people who we have in our life, most of the people don't understand the new path.
True.
And as a human mind, when you don't understand something, you will term it as risky and
Agree.
bad and dangerous because you don't understand it. If we have to fly a plane today, we can't fly a plane and it's a risky thing. But what if you learn how to fly a plane?
Hmm.
You take a training, you go through the process, you go through the system. So when your competence goes up, your confidence goes up, and so
Agree.
does your courage. So right now, if you don't know how to find your passion, if you don't know how to leverage social media, if you don't know how to write a book, if you don't know how to create your program or course or product, if you don't know how to sell and close, of course you will be worried. Of course you will be afraid because you don't know all this thing. So to you, it is an alien thing. But the same person, if goes through the same process, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, goes through your mentorship program, goes through Passion Planner mentorship program, they understand holistically how this complete thing works.
True.
And then once you understand this, your competence is up, your confidence is up, your courage will automatically be up. But the point is not whether you will be able to do it or not. The point is, do you even have a courage to pull out your wallet and spend that money on yourself? You had that courage when you spent lakhs of rupees joining Passionpreneur Mastermind. But were you the only person who joined the Passionpreneur Mastermind at that time? I would say very few people joined out of hundreds of people who got the opportunity. The only
100%.
difference between you and them who are still struggling with the job and who are still having self doubt is you took risk, and you took calculated risk. It was
100%.
not that you spent 14 lakhs or 40 lakh rupees right from the day one, which most of the people do when they start a business sometimes, but they forget that your business is a reflection of you. Before you start investing in business, invest in yourself. So courage is a muscle that gets built by taking small calculated risks. And if you go to see in our education system, what risk we took? No risk. We took at the corporate system, what risk we took? Nothing. We got comfortable with it. So our appetite, our muscle, and as I say, courage is a muscle. When unused, it shrinks.
100%.
So some people did not use it for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Of course, the muscle is very tiny. You have to feed the muscle again. And the only way you feed the muscle again is by taking a small calculated risk. When you
Yes.
did that, you realize that you're worth it. And then one thing led to another, another, and then you started taking massive action. And how much money have you spent on self-development now? What
I
is the
think more
approximate?
than 15 lakhs now.
Imagine your muscle has built
Yep.
by spending money, time, and effort, and you spend 15 lakhs. But people are watching this. You don't have to be crazy like Rakesh or crazy like me to directly spend 15 lakhs. We took small, 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 small risks.
100%. Yeah.
And now your courage muscle is much bigger than 90% of the population on this planet Earth. when it
True.
comes to the and again, look, what risk are we talking about? We're not talking about physical risk. We're talking about just mental and spiritual. We're putting ourselves into that risk. Physically, you and I, we know if we quit a job, we're not gonna die. Yeah, we will have food. We're not so worse that we not learned anything. We have no knowledge. We have no skills. There is some skill. It's just that it'll be a struggle. But most of the people do not want to go to the struggle. They are really afraid of even enduring the pain for a short period of time. But they will be happy to endure the bigger pain for a long period of time, being in a mediocre life, being in a mediocre job, not knowing what to do, being frustrated. And when the economy hits, right, everything gets wiped away. But you and I, we are thriving in this corona situation. Why? Because we took the calculated risk when it was needed and it's not too late. So I think that is what people don't understand. The courage is the muscle that we need to build by taking small calculated risks.
It so rightly resonate with me because I remember my life when I started taking the risk. I took a risk of getting into the one of the college where I didn't know what degree I am actually getting into. So I just took a risk on the name of the college and not on the degree.
Mm.
That is one risk I took. I went for a job outside my city when nobody was actually ready to go out. Not my In my entire generation, nobody has actually gone out of the city. The entire generation is still staying there except me and my brother right now. And I also remember that when people join the job, they actually start and enjoy that independence and freedom. In the first year of my job, I took that risk of buying a house, and I kept on doing that risk. I probably did 3 houses, 4 houses by now, and now I understand that buying a house for me is becoming like, okay, yes, let's go. So I think that muscle is also a function of what you I'm just coming into, and that is what your first book talks about: 80% mindset and 20% skills. What I have really realized by reading that book is that people would love to actually struggle for the longer period of time in what they seek is the uncertainty, but they
Mhm.
would not look for struggle for the certainty that they can derive from their own competence. That's what I have understood. Like I was doing that for long period of time just to make sure that there will be some certainty. अच्छा यहाँ job ठीक हो जाएगा, then there the job will be okay. Yeah, my role will be better, or my function will be better, or I'll have 200 people, 500 people. What next?
Mhm.
Nothing. So I definitely resonate with that, and that's where I bring to the next point that courage as a muscle and the risk taking ability has to do with while it is a conditioning, but it can be developed into a empowering as well, like you did, I did, or many of the people who have done it in the business, like people like Ritesh, who has developed that business, right, just from the idea. What is the element of the mind that one should actually take care when people are getting into this journey? Because I know that there will be a one element of courage which is definitely required, but more often than not people don't fail by skills. They have knowledge and skills, they all fail through that mindset part. So
Mhm.
what would be your advice in that case?
Yeah, yeah. So you rightly mentioned that the mindset is the king. And I cite an example in my book as well. When Sadhguru went to his friend who was setting up the water purification plant, he had no idea how to set up a water purification plant. He insisted that he give him an opportunity to set up a plant, and he laughed at him. That, are you mad? You've never done this. You have no formal education. You're not an engineer. How would you set up a water purification plant? I've invited the international organizations, so they'll come and they're expensive. He said, you know what? Give me an opportunity. I said, okay. He did his homework. He did studied and all that. He came. He implemented, and it failed. And he laughed at it. I said, told you, you should not do it. It's not your expertise. He said, no, 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 give me some more time. He went back again, looked at what is the problem and all fine tuned, came back, fixed it, the business was up and running or water purification. Now, did Sadhguru have skills? Absolutely not. But he had the most vital element, which was the mindset. And this is the reason why I say if you have the right mindset, skill set can be acquired because you're not born, no doctor is born as a doctor, no lawyer is born as a lawyer, right? माँ के पेट से कोई सीख के नहीं आता ये सब चीजें. But you can learn all the skills part, but provided you have the mind, which is like a sponge, that you, if you have a mindset which is like a rock, you pour some knowledge, which just say imagine the water you're pouring on the rock, it just fade away.
Obvious.
But imagine you have a sponge and you put water of knowledge and wisdom and skills, it'll suck all the knowledge. And that is what mindset is all about. Being an open, sponge like mind, acquiring only the right things and right knowledge and not the dirt of the negativity, the hate, the worry, the lack, the limitation. If you remove all that clutter and you become an open minded person who is positive, who is driven, who is ambitious, who is seeking to impact others, then you truly become unstoppable. But the question is, how do you develop this kind of mindset? There is a system, there is a process, there is a ritual. And you know the ritual, right? It's a savers, or now it's been advanced called givers. Right now, today in the morning, I followed my ritual. Most of the people, when they wake up, what they do? They pick up the cell phone. First thing, I grab the cell phone, WhatsApp message, this message, that message. So you're not feeding your mind the right things at the right time.
True.
Most of the people are actually reactive to the life what throws at them, the messages, the content, this, that. So most of the people wake up with the worry, stress, anxiety, frustration, or maybe mediocrity, the worst of all. They react. But very, very few people like you and I, we say, you know what, if I want to win my life, I need to win my day. And if I need to win my day, I need to win my morning.
True.
How do
Makes
I
sense.
win my morning is every successful person has their morning rituals. It includes some of the elements, which I've covered in the book 80% mindset, 20% skills as well, starting from the whatever meditation or silence or whatever you want to do it, or it could be a gratitude. So I woke up today in the morning, I brushed my teeth, went to the bathroom, then I sat on my, on my chair, and I just closed my eyes and I became thankful for everything that I have in my life. What is it? Like I do not even touch my phone, right? The health I have, family that I have, goods, the materialistic things that I have, everything that I have, I became thankful. Then I went into the imagination mode. What is it that I can achieve? What is it that the future looks like for me? What I want to manifest? And then visualize it to make it real. These small three things just takes 10 to 15 minutes. But
True.
that's the food for your mind. And if you feed that, the rest of your day will be powerful. You will be more productive, you'll acquire more skills, and you will become amazing. Mindset is the king. That's it.
100%. And I can say from my own example, when I started my journey, definitely I was more intellectual when I started off. I understood that yes, there are a lot of things which I need to achieve for a compulsive reason or non-compulsive reason were different. But ultimately, I realized the crux of it, that the mindset has actually played a role whoever I am today. And if not for that, I would have probably lost this game long back. I would have been still got into the same job again and probably look for the next level, next level, next level. And that brings me to a very exciting question, because one is definitely the person has to have that mindset. And I'm sure that there are a lot of aspiring people in the world, especially the professionals in the mid-career, who have the lot of knowledge, skills, experience, talent, expertise, and everything. And I keep telling that if you do not take charge of your career, somebody else will play with it. and it does happen with them as well. Uh, what I also realize, there are elements of things which are needed to build a business. And I'm sure you, being the pioneer of this passionpreneur movement, what are those elements that you will say that somebody needs to look for when they want to build the business, while they definitely need a mentor and a coach like you and I, who can actually show them the right path and on a faster level, instead of doing the trial and error through YouTube or books or whatever way or means. But
Yeah.
what are those key elements that one can actually look for?
Yeah, good question. So I will give you a very tangible answer, which is steps. There are steps to achieve anything. You want to cook something,
Sure.
there's a process, there's a step. You want to become something, there are
100%.
steps and process. To become a passionpreneur, to follow your passion and build a business around it, step number one is clarity. If you do not have the clarity of who you are, what is your passion, what is your mission, what is your vision, none of the things will matter. We see a lot of businesses starting up and they fail. Why? Because they're not passionate about what they're doing. They just do it because they want to make money. They miss the first step, which is the clarity. Why am I doing it? Like somebody says, "Oh, I've started a manufacturing business." Okay, I asked him, why did you start? "Oh, because it's a good business opportunity." I said, "Okay, good luck with that then." Okay. The step number one is to know what you love, what are you passionate about, what is your mission, what is your vision, what makes you tick, what makes you click, what drives you. That's number one. Once you have that, okay, I'm going to give you the hard, maybe step by step process, and I'm also going to give you an easy answer as well. The hard first is clarity. Second is visibility.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Most of the people, again, they skip the first and second step and they start with the third step, which is building the products. But what is the point of building a product if you don't have the market of people who are buying? And even if you have the market of the people who are buying, but if you're not passionate about it, what's the point of doing that? So the second step is, how can you get known? In today's world, if you are not present on social media, if Google says that you don't exist, that means you don't exist. There's no point, right? Your business is going to be redundant if you're not online. And when I say online, it's not just the website, okay? It's not just the contact details. You have to create the content. You have to add the value to people before they even buy from you. Like what you're doing, what I'm doing. We're doing this for free. We're adding more value, which helps us to get more visibility, adds more value to people, and then they'll go to the next step. So the second step is get known. Okay, no matter how wonderful your product is, people cannot buy if they don't know you. Number three is build the product. What is the product or service? Whatever you're doing, whether you're in coaching, mentoring, whether you have physical product, whether you have virtual products, or you have services, build different levels of product, whether it's free, affordable, core, which is the big ticket, and complementary or supplementing, upserve or upsell type of thing. When you build that product, then is that enough? No. You need to learn how to close. You need to learn how to sell. So step number four is learn how to sell and close. Even if you have great knowledge about first three, and if you don't know the fourth, you cannot start your business. You cannot build your business. How do you learn to close? Buy some courses, buy some programs. I learned from Seafood and Log, HTC. You learn from somebody like you, me, whoever it is, but you need to learn to close. And the selling is different than closing. A lot of people don't understand. They think selling is everything. No, selling itself is a big gamut, includes a lot of things like lead generation, presentation, negotiation,
Prospecting.
all that thing, prospecting and all. Um, and closing is portion of selling, but closing itself is a different animal. So that's number four. And last but not the least is, even if you learn how to close, but if you cannot generate the leads consistently over a period of time and incrementally, then you do not have a business. You have an expensive hobby, right? As Grant Cardone says, even a blind squirrel will stumble upon a nut once in a while.
Once in a while.
So most of the people, when they start a business, they become lucky because somebody will walk into their store, somebody will buy something from there, Can you do it predictably? Can you do it consistently? Can you do it incrementally? For that, you need the fifth step, which is funnels. How people will know you, how people get nurtured, how people will buy from you, and how people will continue to learn and buy from you. It's a
True.
complete funnel which has to be set. And once you build one funnel, then replicate different funnels, right? Growthpreneur is your funnel, passionpreneur is my funnel. Then we have other funnels. Can you replicate a lot of funnels and can you incrementally improve on those things? That is the five step. Then, of course, there are a couple of more steps. But for a starter, these are the minimum five steps that you need to start your business and build it. That's the hard way, step by step process. If you want to know the shortcut, I'm going to give you the shortcut as well. The shortcut is find somebody who has been there and done it, so you can reduce your learning curve and not waste time. Like a lot of people say, Dave, you became a millionaire within 2.5, 3 years. You made 2 million 2020. How did you do it? I said, I did a smart thing. I took the money and I invested in my mind. And as I say, money in your brains grows faster than the money in the bank. When I
100%.
invest in my mentor, Dan Locke or Grant Cardone, what am I buying? I'm not buying knowledge. I'm not buying my mentor. I'm buying speed. I am buying the
Time.
speed of getting the results. I'm buying the time. And this is what the rich people do. Rich people spend money and buy time. Poor people give time and buy money, get money in return. So, this is what I would say for anybody who's starting, find a way to do this faster and better so that you can become successful faster.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. That's very, very profound. And as we come to that business part of it, and I'm sure while growing through this journey of 3 years where you became the first millionaire of your generation, how the Dave Gadhvi of 20 years now look at his life if he has to start over?
Hmm, interesting. If I if I was 20 years and if I'm starting over again, the first thing I'll do is I will first think big,
Mm-hmm.
because we are the byproduct. Our life is a byproduct of the thoughts that we generate. I will focus on thinking big because 20 years, as at 20 years, my only thought process was get a job, get money, get promotions, and that's about it. That was my thought process. And that was when I started my journey with Reliance BPO and Wipro BPO and all. But if I had to start over again, I will start thinking big beyond the norm of the society of getting education and going to job. What is it that I can do which is big and impact bigger lives? That's number one. Number two is I would find a mentor, because how would I think big if I do not have a context? And who can give me the context? Only the people who have the big thinking and who achieve big things.
True.
And and as I say, in life, it is less about the content. Okay, it is. I'm just also documenting on my side sometimes. In life, it's not about the content, it is about the context. If you can expand your context, you will find the content. But if you just focus on the content, and you'll miss out the bigger context. So when I have the mentors like Dan Locke, I get a bigger context of life, of what is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I'm young at 20 years old, I don't know what is possible.
True.
And being in an education system, my context is very small. It's just about the
Agree.
job and survival and the money, because who am I learning from? I'm learning from people who themselves have the small context of life, right? Who are also the slave of the system and trading time for money. They're not millionaires. I love the teachers. I'm also a teacher. You're also a teacher. But let's accept the fact most of the teachers are broke.
Agree.
So, how would I get a bigger context? Find the best people who have the bigger picture, who have been there, done it, learn from them, invest. And if you're 20 years old, and if I was 20 years old, the biggest challenge that we will have, that how do I find a mentor? I don't have the money. I cannot invest in the course. What can I do? Man, become a freelancer for them. Work for them for free for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years,
True.
and work for free for initial period, because what you're doing is you're trading your time for the knowledge.
Knowledge.
that is going to set you aside and apart from all the world. You know my cousin's story, right? Sham is my cousin, but Sham is doing something different than what all of his colleagues are doing. He is 19 years old, so perfect example that I can give right now to people watching this in 19, 20 years old. I told him that formal education is fine. He just completed his 12th and he's in a first year college. Focus on self development, self education, expand your context, and learn real 21st century skills. So
True.
he's learning the video editing, graphic designing, and creative things, which is a high demand. That is what is going to help you to become more successful and set you aside apart from all the people that are there. So he's thinking big because he has me in his life to show him the bigger path. And then he is having a burning desire to serve, even if he does not get paid, he continues to serve and continue to serve. Hell, now it's a different thing that he gets paid as well, as a fairly for his age, but his life is going to be different. So this is what I would do at the age of 20.
Wonderful, wonderful tips for the 20-year-old guys. And what I also realized that I was just like what you said in the survival game for the 20-year-old kind of that. And and the major part of it is definitely the education system that we have gone through and the parenting that we have gone through. Now, when we are building the business, which is what we all feel that it is a golden generation when we are starting off, one is definitely to start off, the other one is sustaining. And I think you have done both. So, what would be your three or four advices to the people when they want to actually go and continue on that path for a longer period of time? So, how can one actually set a long term horizon if somebody has to look at it?
Very, very interesting question. And I love this question. What is it that somebody can do to go from just starting their business or journey to sustaining the momentum and growing? One thing which I learned from my mentor, Dan Locke, he said that what is working today will not be working tomorrow.
True.
So before it stops working, you start working on new things and break the current process which is already working before external forces break it. Right? And I know, you can resonate this because you've done it very often. Um, Facebook ads stopped working for me because of the compliance.
Mm-hmm.
Had I not got somebody from my team focusing on YouTube ads, my business would have tanked because I was only relying on one source of lead generation. So I think that is the most crucial part for anybody who started a business who wants to grow is ask yourself this question. What if this stops working? What would I do? That's the number one thing. Number two, I would focus on the problems that I can solve for others versus falling in love with my own business, my product, my services. This is typically what most of the entrepreneurs they do. They start the journey to impact and add value to solve the problem, but somewhere when they become successful and start getting results, they forget why they started.
True.
So reminding themselves of the why you started and solving the problem and not falling in love with their business, I think that is very crucial. Okay. And number three is asking yourself the question, what is it that I don't know that I don't know?
Agree.
Because moment you get a feeling that I think I know enough and I know it all, that's where your downfall begins.
Mm-hmm.
I always ask myself this question, what is it that I don't know that I don't know? And I put myself in those situations either by paying money or taking calculated risks or being with the successful people. I put myself in those situations that actually helps me to know things that I don't know that I don't know. Today, I've joined after just 1 hour or so. I have one more program that I'm going to attend, which is going to be only for creators. How can I take my videos to the next level? Now, do I not know how to create videos? I know it. Do I not have team to create videos? Yes, my team is also there. But the only difference between the people who are just going to stop at being successful and the people who are going to become significantly successful or having a significance is that small edge. I'm
Yes.
looking only for the small edge that those creators know that I don't, that can take my YouTube to the next level, that my ads to the next level, take my engagement to the next level. I'm only looking for that edge because I'm always seeking what I don't know that I don't know. And that is
Wonderfully.
the difference.
Wonderfully, I think, explained that. And I was smiling because I was resonating with the things which you were mentioning, although I have not learned from the Sifu. But definitely, I started doing something just to make sure that I kill something, because I don't know when it is going to end, right? So kept on experimenting, and today, when I am here, I know that I'm no longer surviving mode per se. I am always in that thriving mode and looking for that age all the time.
I know
And that,
your journey has been full of struggles and ups
oh
and
yeah,
downs. You know, you
absolutely.
started with the different micro niche, and then you started with trying different micro niche, and then you started with the
Yes,
video courses, and then your ads, and now you're doing the mentorship and 3-day event. So I know that you are the one, and this is the reason why it is reflecting on your success. Chart. You're already on your way to become a crorepati this year. You know, and
100%.
and much more, maybe a millionaire. Who knows?
True. And one thing I also realized during the course of a journey, while with you and definitely Ron as well, some aspect of the personalities are actually different when we are doing that business and sustaining it. What is that one driving factor every day that drives Dev? Yeah, today I should be probably doing this. Today I should be getting there. Today I should be reaching here. What is that one factor should be driving? Because I think one of the biggest challenge that the people who are in the regular profession, who are aspiring to be an entrepreneur, I think what I say in my mentorship is that quit 9 to 5 mindset before you quit 9 to 5. And that is because you may not have that luxury of 9 to 5. So, what is that driving force that one needs to develop, a muscle that they one needs to develop, which can actually keep them driving for the longer period?
Very interesting question. And before I answer this question, let me share an incident that happened in Gujarat as I went on a trip. Every year, I visit Gujarat in the last 3 years, one and a half years. I always take a trip to Gujarat. Something interesting happens. This time, one of my friend and I, we took a photo and he shared it on his status. And he met me in the evening. He said, Dave, you don't know what happened. I said, what happened? I kept your photo on the status, and one guy from my company, it's a small town, by the way, Adipur, Gujarat is a very small town. I don't even know if people know me there or not, or that's what I thought. He said, he is behind my life. He's saying that, how did you meet this guy, Dave Gadhvi? I was like, what do you mean, how did I meet? He lives in Adipur. I said, wow, wow, and how do you know him? He said, he's my chuddy buddy. Like, I know him from childhood. My God, I want to meet him. Can I just have 10 minutes? I'm ready to travel, a few kilometers and just meet him, just get 10 minutes time with him. That made me realize that the impact that we are creating is spreading to the people. And this is just a validation that we are growing. And another thought came to my mind that why is it that I am so lucky that I'm getting recognition? People are waiting for my videos, even my hometown. I'm getting a lot of respect for the things that I've achieved. Why is it that I'm able to make money? Why am I able to impact so many lives and live fulfilled in 6 Sundays a week life? Why? And that is exactly the answer, which is why. My why is very clear. And most of the people's why gets faded away over a period of time, or they don't even know their why. They mostly look at how can I make more money? How can I have, great house and car and luxury, and how can I become more successful? So they're more me driven. Now, I'm not saying you should not make a lot of money. You should make a lot of money, okay? Because how else you will help other people? Like I did a lot of charity when I was in Adipur Kutch, and giving away free food packages and the blankets because it's very cold in Gujarat. How else would you be able to help people if you're not successful? So it's important. But money and success is a byproduct of your why. If your why is just more focused on materialistic things, you're not going to grow in life.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be focused on who can I help? How can I add value to people? So to answer your question, when the reason why the speed is growing for you, I, and all the passionpreneurs is because all the passionpreneurs remind themselves of their why. And because of that, their drive does not fade away. Like, does it mean that I don't feel demotivated sometimes? Yes, there are times when I'm trying to do something new, it's not working out. I feel bad, I get demotivated. But then I remind myself, why did I start? Why am I putting myself through this pain? Why do I need to spend 10 lakh rupees a month on salaries, the wages of the people? Why do I need to take risk? I can easily retire with the money that I have. I can make lakhs just from the interest. Even if I don't do anything, just from interest, I'm going to make lakhs, which is good enough for me. My books are making me lakhs. So even if I don't move one finger, I can make money. Why do I have to then put myself? It's precisely because of my why. It is
Mm-hmm.
not the money, because as a human being, we need to understand after your survival mode, security mode, you're not no longer driven by the same need that you had at the beginning. Then after that, more money is not what excites you. Only two things will excite you. One is your growth, your personal growth, and second is contribution.
Contribution.
If you have these two things clear, then nothing can stop you. That I am doing this because I am growing and I want to grow while contributing is the best combination. That I'm growing while contributing to others. I'm happy and excited. That is the answer. That's the reason why.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for explaining so beautifully. And I remember my time when what triggered me the thought to actually get into the business. I've been trying the business since 2012 14 time, and definitely have failed in a couple of them already. And I realized that there was no reason for me to actually start the business. I was just doing it for me, money, 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 money kind of thing. And I have no qualm in actually talking in front of the people as such on this. What I realized though, that I watched a video of a group CEO is saying that after a certain age that you have got experience, knowledge, skills, and equity, then what are you going to die with? Are you going to die with all the then what have you come for actually in the world? You actually took birth, you're consuming, want more, 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 more. Till the time you die, you want more. Even at the old age, you want to actually enjoy the luxury, right? And that's what you are preparing for in the job as well. What is your contribution? Are you giving back anything? Maybe in knowledge, maybe in money, maybe in skills, maybe are you contributing anything to the world so that you, when you leave, you are leaving your footprints behind rather than just die with all the things. So I think the beautiful concept which I call a die empty, which is the book as well, I think that is a beautiful concept which drove me to the to you as well, that why you are doing was more important to me than actually how you are doing.
Yeah.
And three things which I really want to bring to people, and one of them is, while you are on the journey of why, people feel that you got lucky, you became millionaire, or I earned so much of money in the process. Do you feel that there has to be a price also which people need to pay? And why people are not ready to pay that price? Because what people ignore one side of the coin is they only see the shiny side that, oh, Dave is a millionaire.
Mhm.
What is the other side that people do not know?
Well, it's a very interesting question. Answer is absolutely yes. We all need to pay the price, right? And you and I, we know it that universe does not give you what you want, gives you what you deserve. And to
Absolutely.
become deserving, you got to pay the price. I paid the price by staying away from my family for last 2, 3 years. I paid the price by saying bye bye to the comfortable life and taking risk, not just myself, all my family as well. I put them into risk. But did somebody put a gun on on my head and say, no, no, you got to take a risk? No, it is something that I needed to
Agree.
and I wanted to because my dreams are bigger than my excuses. My faith is bigger than my fear, right? My ambitions are bigger than just me becoming successful and making money. So when you look at the bigger picture, spiritually, you get so much of power
True.
automatically. And at that time, you don't realize that you're actually suffering because you are in the moment. You may have the degree of suffering and all that, but when you look back as a man, did I go through that? You automatically get more power. Automatically get more strength. Is it going to be easy? No. But is it going to be worth it? Absolutely, yes. And we have to look at this as a game. If we look at this as a mandatory thing that we have to do, or a tick mark or check mark, it is not intellectual game. It's a spiritual game. If you have to play this game, you have to operate from your spirituality in thinking of the bigger picture, impacting lives, adding value to people. And moment you stop being spiritual and being selfish, then you will feel more pain. Then you'll feel more struggle because you're doing it for yourself and you'll easily quit because you're doing it for yourself. But when you stop being selfish and you're looking to do something for others, adding value to others and impacting others and creating something which is going to stay there for a longer period of time, like today, even if I die, my books are going to be there forever,
True.
right? 600 days a week, 80% mindset, 20% skills. My legacy is going to be there. My videos are going to be there. My program is going to be there. Who's going to cry when you die, right? As Robin Sharma said, empty your cup. So when you're going through the phase, yes, you are paying the price, but the price is minuscule as compared to what you're going to get in return.
100%.
Only problem is when people are afraid of even taking this kind of calculated risk is because they're selfish. They're only looking for themselves and their success and their money. And no wonder why most of the people live mediocre life. So we have to pay the price, but it's become effortless when you go from me to them and others.
100%. And I think I definitely resonate with the point that staying in the game is what is more important because of your why instead of what.
Yes.
And what I also realized that as a passionpreneur, you have a big vision. So, what do I see? I'm sure you're not 50 years old. So, what do I see 50 years old Dave looking at today?
Wow, that's a very good question. See, 10 years from now, so I'm 39 right now. So 11 years from now, I definitely see myself who have impacted millions of lives. So my bigger mission is transforming 1 billion lives. Now, a lot of people say, Dave, but how are you going to get there? How would you impact? A few years ago, I did not have the answer, but I have the answer right now. How am I going to get to billions of people? If not billions, at least millions of people, is by creating the army of crazy, passionate people who are changing the world for good through their unconventional wisdoms and becoming legends. You're one of those. All the people that you're impacting right now, it's ultimately coming into my share of impact as well. Because you're also byproduct of passionpreneur, byproduct of what we started this together as a passionpreneur movement. And I am a byproduct of Dan Lok and Grant Cardone. So what is
100%.
happening now is what is 1 billion? Imagine if I'm able to create 1 lakh coaches, mentors, trainers, passionpreneurs, and in return, they're impacting how many? Few thousands?
Thousands, yeah,
Just
absolutely.
few thousands. And I can clearly see you're impacting already thousands. So I don't even need to
Definitely.
create lakhs of people. I don't need to even create lakhs of people. Even if I have thousands of people who are going to impact lakhs of lives, To me, the birth that I took, me coming to this planet Earth, is completely worth it. 10 years from now, that's exactly what's going to happen. Passionpreneur is going to become a global movement. People around the globe would be joining the Passionpreneur movement as one family. Just imagine you traveling to country like Croatia, and you will have Passionpreneur community there. You travel to Africa, there's a community there. You want to do some event there, you want to do some launch something there, and there's a close knit community who is supporting there. So 10 years from now, that's exactly what's going to happen, and we'll have a huge community. That's a big goal. That's a big vision. The picture that I have, having lakhs of people, in the events, having a big stadiums being full, not to see the rock stars or the cricket, but to see people like you and I. There'll be
That's a
people like
wonderful vision, and I would love to be the part of that stadium anyway on the
you.
stage. And uh, I think while we are moving towards the vision and people, when you mentioned for the 20-year-old is that they are thinking, they need to think big, right? And this passion pin, a vision per se is a very, very big thinking, a huge leap for a common man to actually look at themselves and see themselves on the stage. One of the things which I realize over the last 2.5 years of journey is that once you enter into the entrepreneurship like this, a passionpreneur or become a growthpreneur, in order to sustain that momentum, you also need a lot of vitality and energy.
Huge leap for a cop.
Just a minute. Where is it?
Sorry, sorry. It was my
Oh,
PC.
is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So the huge, the a lot of vitality and energy is required. And you mentioned about the spirituality, so I'm touching that point. How much do you think is the spirituality significant, and what do you think that how the person should be driven when they are so materialistic, so consumer? I would say the consumerism which is currently happening. The same social media could be a curse for somebody, could be a boon for somebody, right? We are utilizing as a boon, somebody are utilizing as a curse. Now, how do you see that spirituality is playing a lot of part in that journey? Because I'm sure that I have come across many professionals who want to do something. They have that skill, knowledge, and everything, but ultimately they are failing at connecting with themselves. Somewhere they are missing that vision, somewhere they are missing that purpose, somewhere they are finding the why is so difficult. Where do you see that the person needs to actually go and check, okay, this is where I need to do the introspection, where I can probably find something about myself which can help me understand and see my higher self? Where do you
Mhm.
see that?
So, good point. I think as a human beings, we are wired differently. Some people are more heart driven. Some people are mind driven. And there's nothing wrong in that. But when you combine your heart and mind and you start looking at things beyond yourself, I think that's when the magic starts to happen. So people who are by default mind driven, they're more logic driven, they're more skills driven, they could be more materialistic in nature, could be more what can I achieve, because that's how the mind works. People who are heart driven, it's easy for them to serve others and add value to others and give back to the community, give back to society. It's easy for them. For people who are already heart driven, you need to find a way to bring mind into it, because you cannot just be a heart driven person and not have the business acumen or logics. You need to make money as well, so you need to bring that mind and element to that. People by default are mind driven. You need to bring the element of heart. How do you do that? Hang around with people who are more heart driven. If you're mind driven, hang around with people who are heart driven, because their language, their dialogues, the things that they speak, it'll automatically go into your conscious and subconscious mind, and you will start utilizing your heart part, the spiritual part, more than the mind. So do that,
Absolutely.
right? Consume things which is more spiritual in nature, which is reading books which is more spiritually aligned, like Built to Serve, and serve nothing, and focus on who will cry when you die, die empty. All these books are more spiritual driven. Now these are not necessarily like the books which is just like religious or yoga and all that. This is the really profound. Like, I used to think that I don't think I'm spiritual, like, because I don't usually go to temples and mosques and churches very often. But I realize I'm more spiritual than majority of the people. Okay, because religion and spirituality are two different things, right? There is a God, there is a universe, there is some force which is driving all of us. And the best service of God or whoever you believe in is serving the humanity. If you serve the humanity, there is no better spiritual person than you.
True.
So I realize that I'm more heart driven and I serve more people through all the aspects, whether it's content, whether it's money, whether it's support, whether it's knowledge, right? Whether it's my team members or my clients or followers, I want to serve people. So it is natural to me to do that. But if it's not natural to you, you want to be more spiritual, hang around with more spiritual, consume more spirituality and bring more of those things. If you're more spiritual driven, you still need to have the mind and brain. You need to find the mentors and coach who can teach you the business angle. You cannot just be spiritual and go to Himalayas and do the meditation. You're living in the financial planet, so you need to have both combination. But that's my suggestion.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Dave. And I think that's where the growthpreneur philosophy also comes in, where we believe in three philosophy. I think one of the things which you have touched upon very briefly is one is the winner's mindset that one person needs to have in life, and the second is entrepreneur's skill set, because as an entrepreneur you need to put in your mind to the skills that is required, and third is definitely the leader's heart, because if you are not a leader you cannot become the great entrepreneur. And that brings me to my next question as well. How do you see the leadership plays a role in actually driving your business? Because coming from a professional background to, let's say, somebody you who is leading so many people around you and somebody is reporting to you, so you playing like a boss. Okay, I'm somebody now, being in the entrepreneurship where you have a lot of fear, lot of overwhelming feeling, lot of things to be done, both mind needs to be maintained as well as heart needs to be maintained. Where do you see that leadership actually driving towards in the game that we talk about, which is to continue to serve that humanity with that purpose
Yeah.
ultimately?
So, great point. You can become a solopreneur and make some kind of income, success, or impact up to a certain limit. But beyond that, if you are to grow, leadership is the only thing which will help you to grow beyond your own capability. And leadership is something which is very under focused, undervalued skill. Just like sales, just like marketing, leadership is one of those top elements that decides whether your business will go from $100,000 to a million, and then from million to 10 million. Most of the businesses they start breaking
True,
after generating 100,000, they start breaking because making 60, 70 lakhs a year is comparatively easy to do it alone.
true,
But you want to go from 100,000 to a million, you need the team, you need people. So as a leader, my responsibility, the key responsibility is to find right leaders, to groom leaders who are already there in the company, and to retain the leaders. And I have a philosophy that train the team like that they go anywhere and they become successful. Train it like that they can go anywhere and they can become successful. And then treat them so well that even
they
if they
don't go.
want to, they don't go. Right? That is my simple philosophy as a leader. Um, this is selfless. Okay. I, as a leader, want to empower people in my team and want them to become equally successful than all my mentees as well. What are the dreams? So for me, it is important for me to know what matters to them, what is important to them, what initiatives is going to help them to grow, and not just from monetary aspect. Because money is one angle. What drives somebody with money may not drive other person, right? Money may not be driver for somebody. Maybe growth is a driver for somebody. Maybe contribution is a drive for somebody. Maybe recognition is a drive for somebody. So I, as a leader, need to understand what is important to them and help them to achieve exactly what they want while they're serving in the team and supporting Team Dev Gadhvi. So as a leader, these are the three things: find right leaders, nurture them, and retain them. And these are some of the principles that I follow. Is it easy? Not so much at the beginning. If you're not a natural leader, if your skills are not more conducive of people skills and helping them grow, you need to learn the subject. You need to invest the money. You need to invest the time. I bought a lot of courses on leadership, right? What is it that I can do? And I need to be open to take the feedback from my team, even as the smallest member of my team or youngest member of my team. I need to be ready and open to take the feedback from them. So I have designed my team, the environment, the culture in such a way that's conducive, growth oriented. It's just not focused on just team, just they've got to be growing and they're remaining as an employee. No, no. For me, everybody's an entrepreneur, and I set up a growth as a parameter for everybody to grow holistically. And if you want to go grow, so growth is one of those values that we have. Transparency is other value that we have, right? And becoming the best version of yourself is those. So we set up the values, set up the culture, conducive for everybody's growth. And that is why the team they've got has grown from 1 people to 10 people to now 20 people, including all the co-mentors as well, right? So 10 people now, 10 people in the mentors and co-mentors, and then 20 people within just 1 or 2 years. And it's going to go double and triple in the next few years.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for sharing this perspective. I think this is bringing me to the last question, maybe to understand the philosophy of a passionpreneur. When you started the business, you were aware that yes, you want to actually start the business around the passion, and you found the mediocrity as the disease, which is actually a very common disease. And definitely you laid down the steps as well to start with the clarity and then visibility and those aspects of it. What I really want to understand as Dev Gadvi, when he sees now the passionpreneur movement going global, right? How does he see the world education moving in that direction now that we have a lot of mentors, coaches, trainers are coming up in the market, right? And I think India is currently finding that in the midst of that revolution, what we call as a coaching and training industry, still many people are ignorant about it. So many people need to be made aware. So many people will call us scamsters and so on. But I'm sure with the industry evolving, where do you see that the entire education system will move along with that? Will
Mm.
it be the trainer coaching industry? Will it grow forever, or will it have some stagnancy, saturation, or something? And how do you perceive it? Maybe 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line.
A wonderful question. Wonderful question. I don't know if the viewers know this. I'm sure you know this. Today, the self development industry around the globe is typically about 50 to 60 million, 50 to 60 billion, as per one of the people that I was following. How big is the traditional education? $5 trillion. Now, what is happening? The trend is now becoming quit 9 to 5, quit the formal education, self education, self development is becoming mainstream now.
Mhm.
It was mainstream in the US for a few years, and now that is coming to India and the Asian countries, and that wave is coming. I definitely believe in next few years the formal education will reduce a lot, and the self education will move a lot. To what degree? I don't know. whether 10%, 5% growth, or 20%, 50%. I don't know what percentage will grow, but I know for sure it's going to grow well.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who are right now starting, or who already started 1 or 2 years ago, you are the early adopters of this new change that is happening. Every village will be connected through internet is the dream. With the
100%.
change of the village getting internet access, which already a lot of villages already have it, the education, the way it is imparted, way it is delivered, way it is consumed, is also going to change a lot. That's why the video courses are prominent now. That's why the live sessions are prominent now, because there is definitely a lot of vacuum in the formal education, which is not being able to, the education system is not able to fill it. They don't teach you how to find a passion. They don't teach you the mental toughness. They don't teach you the mindset. They don't teach you the spirituality. They don't teach you a lot of practical things which are important for us as a human to grow holistically. All they teach you is the skill set, which also is becoming redundant now.
True.
So, if the formal education is going to be very difficult for them to evolve, if they evolve, wonderful. Only those colleges who are evolving beyond the formal education will sustain the momentum. Rest all will disappear because of this disruption. And who's going to take over? People like you and I, people who are coaches, mentors, trainers, who are adding value to people, helping people to become successful, helping people to become great in their life and elevate their life and go from average to magnificent, go from ordinary to legendary, right? Raising the bars. All these things are going to become mainstream in coming few years, and more people are accepting it. You see, e-commerce was not accepted 10 years ago easily as it is right now.
True. Exactly.
Online payments were not accepted like it is right now, the Google Pay and Paytm. Same thing is happening to self education. It is not accepted a few years ago, but now it's getting accepted. And 5 years from now, it's going to be a regular norm. That's why companies like Byju's and all those things are thriving. But they also will struggle if they don't move fast and adapt the self development. Why do you think companies like Mind Valleys are becoming mainstream and growing and becoming almost going to become $1 billion company soon? Because of the shift that has happened. So future is bright.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I think on behalf of all the audience and definitely from me, I'm truly honored, privileged, and really really grateful to have you on the show. This is my first podcast per se in 2021, and I'm really honored to have you as my first guest as well. And definitely, whatever insights that you have shared will help the people who are watching this, the Growthpreneur, the Be Magnificent in Life and Business podcast. And we just want to wish you a very, very happy new year. Let this passionpreneur movement grow to the global level that you have envisaged. And we all want to be a part of that movement as well. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much, Dave, for being on the show.
Thank you. You're doing an amazing job, and the kind of growth that you've had in just 1.5 years, 2 years is commendable. Very few people are able to get this. So it was a privilege to be on your show. I'm very proud of your growth, and yeah, let's impact many lives now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.